Alright, y'all, occult practices in the space program. When we see early images of the American space program, or even talk about it, usually we focus on engineers with clean lab coats and that cookie-cutter image of old America. But I want to talk about Jack Parsons. He was one of the few people in the United States who genuinely believed we could reach space. He wasn't just a dreamer, he was a chemist, an explosive expert, a pioneer of solid rocket fuel. But at the same time he was working on rockets, he was deeply into occult ritual work. Parsons believed that science and the supernatural weren't opposites, they were connected, two different paths leading towards the same hidden truth. And that brought him directly into the orbit of Aleister Crowley. But Aleister Crowley is going to be a whole nother video. He was a writer, a ritualist, a leader of a whole movement that believed human beings were on the edge of a new spiritual era. But to most people, he was a dangerous eccentric. To Parsons, he was a teacher. But under Crowley's influence, Parsons joined occult lodges, performed ritual ceremonies, and tried to use Crowley's teaching to open what he believed were gateways to deeper knowledge. He wrote openly about contacting entities, receiving visions, and blending spiritual practices with scientific process. But this man is one of the reasons jet propulsion is what it is now. But colleagues questioned him, rumors spread about experiments happening in his home, rituals, summoning attempts, and gathering people who believed the boundaries between worlds could be pushed aside. But by the time the Cold War began, the United States was tightening its control over scientists with access to explosive and classified research, and Parsons' belief, his associations, and his private work became liabilities. Eventually, he was pushed out of the very institutions he began to create. He died in 1952, and then when the U.S. finally formed NASA, it did so with a sanitized narrative, one that left out the man who helped make all this possible, and definitely his occult teachings that shaped his worldview. The truth is, part of America's journey off this planet was sparked by a man who believed he could open doors to something beyond it. And if y'all want me to expand on this, I'm more than ready.